Hey everyone. So, today was the day that we put our dearly beloved cat at rest. Um, when I woke up today at 7:30 a.m., I um, knew that our cat would need a place to be buried. Um, so did my mom, my sister, our family friend. We found a place in the backyard, and so we decided to put our cat there. Um, so I spent a good hour and a half digging a hole that was 3 feet deep. That was the perfect width for him, and we and once that was done, I was very exhausted. So I pretty much like rested for most of the day. Like it's pretty emotionally exhausting, because you're creating the final resting place for your dearly beloved animal. And then we had a little funeral for him. My mom wrote out a eulogy and she read it out in front of the camera. And me, my sister, our family friend were present to witness her read it out. She asked us to say our piece, so we said our piece, each of us. And originally, I was asked to put Avery's body in the ground, but I honestly couldn't bring myself to do it. Like, just seeing his body stiffened up through rigor mortis was something that just made me profoundly uncomfortable. But my sister decided to put him in the ground instead. So she grabbed him, and the way he laid in the box, his final resting place, the place he was at before his life was left, his body was so stiff, even his tail was just completely still. Like, you normally, like, when a tail is lifted, just like sags down, but because of the rigor mortis, it was just completely like stiffened and still and completely flat, the way it was, as if it was like lying. So that was pretty crazy to see. And yeah, when we put him in the ground and we buried him, we patted the ground flat, and we had a little meal in commemoration of him with grass-fed sirloin beef, mashed cauliflower, and asparagus. And we just talked about our different memories about him, how he would always like swipe at us whenever we passed by very playfully, how he would always rest on my like lap whenever I was watching a movie or a show, or just talking to the camera like I am now, or when he would always know how to get our family friend to open or close the door for him. And our family friend said like she never thought that like she would ever feel anything for our cat when she first arrived at the house, but yeah, she was very saddened by his loss, and as was me and my mom and my sister. And then my mom wanted to show me and Rachel a video she found on YouTube by a man named Jackson Galaxy, where he talked about the pain and grief and loss and what can ultimately be learned about it. And one of the things that I really took away from it was that it was better to be loved and to lose than to never be loved at all. And he takes the experiences of each of the animals that has brought him endless joy and love, and he treats every present moment with them as a gift. And he always says that, like, loss and can affect more than just, your pet leaving. It sets reverberating effects throughout your whole life that sort of reminds you of, like, what else you've lost, and like maybe another loved one, or all the moments that you'll never be able to experience again that you experienced every day because of that loved one being present. And I have to admit, not having that, feeling of, like, knowing my cat's going to be walking through that door and sitting on my lap so I can pet him, or sitting on my lap when I'm watching TV, or, purring his heart out when I'm petting him after a long day of work. There's something strangely unsettling about that. It just feels very unnatural because Avery was baked into every part of my life, from when I was 9 years old all the way up until when I was 26. And so not having those moments just feels extremely like there's a void. Like, it feels like very, like I'm like surreal, and something's missing, like we do have 3 other cats that have survived Avery. Malcolm, another orange cat, but he runs away a lot, and he really only shows up when it's feeding time in the morning. He used to show up all the time to sit with us when we watch TV, to hang out with Avery, but ever since my sister brought in her cat, since she decided to live here for a while, for whatever reason, Malcolm has decided to not visit as much. I don't know why. Perhaps it has something to do with Call Me not being fixed, and having his parts still there maybe intimidates Malcolm, because Malcolm got fixed, and maybe he isn't, like, there's that intimidation from another male cat. I don't know. But the other male cat, he would walk in and, like, Call Me, who's another new addition who arrived recently this year. Call Me arrived last year. Malcolm arrived last year, and Call Me arrived this year for my sister. Call Me's a black cat, recently born sometime in the middle of this year, or a little later, and he is also being really avoided currently. I do have a theory for this, and this goes for our female calico long-haired cat, Autumn too. Avery was a very integral part to their lives. He would always be there for them. He would always hang out with them. He had just unconditional love no matter what. And so now that, he's gone, I think it's as much as a shock it is to me as it is to them. I don't think they know how to really react to it. They're still relatively young in the grand scheme of things. Like, one's less than 2 years old and the other one's less than a year old. The other one's been around since, like, around 2021, the long-haired female calico. So I think it's just, like, surreal for all 3 of them. They were so close to him, and now that he's gone, they just, I think they're intentionally being avoided. Maybe it's their form of showing grief, which I totally understand. Like, and the interesting thing that I wanted to mention is in the morning, both Call Me and Malcolm, they got up on Avery's favorite sitting place that he always liked to sit, like on the leather couch in the den, and they both sat where he sat, and they both looked out the window where he would always look out. And it was such a beautiful moment that I took a picture, and I didn't have my camera on me. I asked my mom if I could take the picture with her camera. She allowed it, so I did it. And that moment really touched me. Like, it made me cry because, like, I could sense they knew their friend was gone, and they were, in a way, mourning the loss of their friend. And I'm sure Autumn's doing that too. I haven't really seen her a whole lot since the last day Avery was alive, December 1st. She walked by Avery when he was hanging out in the front of the house, and she came by and she meowed, and then she ran away. She's very skittish, but I think she understood what was going on. Yeah, this is just a really bizarre experience. It feels like something is missing. And I mean, it makes sense because Avery was such an integral part to my life, and him not being around just feels so foreign and strange, and like there's an emptiness left there. Like it feels like that's it. There's where's everybody? Like where's my cat? And it just is yeah. I noticed as I was watching TV with my mom at night tonight, we were watching a documentary about AI, and another documentary about, or no, another video about like a guy making mac and cheese, binging with Babish, and like videos about like different cats. Like there was a cat with dwarfism we watched, and a really fat cat that was trained to be thin and get in shape. And throughout the whole experience, I just kept on getting reminded and noticing Avery's not here. He's not sitting on my lap. And that just kind of created this pit in my gut that like just appeared every now and then. It's really bizarre. Very bizarre. And just sad too, Yeah. It's going to be tough to move on from this, but I mean, can you blame me? This animal was, or this friend was a part of my life for such a long time, and coming to terms with that is like a bit difficult. But if there's something I'm really grateful for, it's that it seemed like he went away peacefully. And when he went away, it felt like he was ready to go, but also he always stuck around with us. He always saw us as his tribe. He always saw us as his pride. The other cats that we've had throughout our entire lives, from Ralph to Evelyn, when they died, they just straight up left. They found a private place and they died there. And we never knew what happened to their bodies. They just, one day they were gone. But Avery never left. He always stayed. And I think that's something that really just shows me how loyal and how loving he was. He didn't feel the need to just shy away from the fact that he was dying. He didn't want to hide that from us. He didn't want to, hide away. He boldly faced it. And that's something I've never seen any other cat we've ever had do. And, the fact that he died in front of us and then we were able to bring his body and have him have his final resting place brings a certain strange comfort to me, because at least I know where he is now, and at least I know that, his family was there to bring him to rest. And honestly, that's something I'm eternally grateful for a cat. He really saw us as he saw himself as one of us, and we saw ourselves as one of him. And you don't really get a connection like that with any animal. That's a special connection. He was special, and there's never going to be another cat like Avery. He was a one of a kind. I'm going to miss him. Well, I think tomorrow, since we've had our little funeral, we've had our eulogy, we've been through this experience, which has been somewhat very, very traumatic, but also we were expecting this for the last 5 to 8 days, and seeing it finally come to an end. 4 eyes. It's given me closure, and I'm grateful for having closure. Burying his grave and burying him, and me and my sister all joining in, and just knowing he's now at peace and he's never going to suffer, be hurt ever again, because not that he was ever, when I say that, I mean, in the stages of dying, he won't get hurt anymore. He's at peace now. It's a comforting thought knowing that he's at rest. And maybe one day, when I go, I'll be able to see him again. And that is the ultimate comforting thought. Seeing Avery waiting for me is going to be, worth the price of being taken. I'm waiting for that moment. It's going to be incredible. Well, but life goes on, and tomorrow I'm going to continue living it, and I hope that this whole experience has taught me to live my life to the fullest and to not succumb to being stuck in self reductive thought or anything like that. I hope this experience has widened my horizons, made me realize time is precious, time is short. Don't ever take any second that you have on this earth for granted. Use every second to its fullest, and realize that you have every potential to be the best version of you can be, and everyone can be the best version that they can be, and that ultimately what matters at the end of the day is showing love, understanding, and care for one another. And if everyone could do that, the world would be an amazing place to live. And that's what my cat has taught me. So, show unconditional love and understanding and patience, and you will be loved back. So, yeah, that's gonna do it. Thank you, Avery, for everything. This is gonna be the last video about my cat, and afterwards it's going to be just continuous daily updates on my life and my diet, how that's going. But I just wanted to make one more video dedicated to my cat and sort of like the conclusion of this saga, and then I'm gonna move on and just continue focusing on seeing how I could be the best version of me. So I dropped the did I drop them? Huh. Oh, there it is. My camera stopping button. Thank you for tuning in. I hope that what I learned from my cat has sort of informed and sort of revealed what it truly means to not just be human, but to be a living, breathing, thinking being that that just has so much to offer. And that's what I think all conscious beings can do. Just they have so much potential to offer, and I think that's wonderful. Well, thank you, and good night. Take care.